The U.S. Vice President JD Vance is in Israel. He's due to meet Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tomorrow. Washington doing all it can to ensure the fragile ceasefire holds. Earlier today, we had the ruler of Qatar condemning Israel for violating that very truce with Hamas. The statement coming as the Israeli side identified the remains of a body handed over by the militant group overnight. Hamas has yet to release all the remains, but it says it's doing the best it can. For more on this story, we can bring in our international affairs editor, Kethevane Gorjestani. Kethevane, good to see you. What should we read into JD Vance's visit to Israel?
Well, look, I think it's a signal sent by the United States and by Donald Trump that he is very serious about holding on to that ceasefire, because JD Vance doesn't really need to be there in the negotiations. He's not the key negotiator. Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff have already been in Israel for a couple of days, and they're going to stay there for a little bit. So there was no actual concrete reason besides the signal, the symbol of sending the Vice President of the United States there to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister as well as the Israeli President. So it's really a sign that the Americans are concerned about the fragility of this ceasefire and that they want to send a message that they're not turning their eyes away from what is going on, because they really have a vested interest. They have skin in the game. Donald Trump said he would have a ceasefire that will hold, that there will be a full peace plan. If it falls apart within a couple of weeks, this is not going to look really well on the U.S. president. So that is really the job of J.D. Vance, to send that signal. He's also going to be meeting with families of hostages, possibly even hostages themselves. He's supposed to be holding a press conference later on today. And he will be visiting the headquarters of what is believed to be the future sort of organizing force, which will be led by the Americans, that will oversee the international security force that is meant to sort of take the peace plan to its next steps. And that is going to be also very important, because that shows, again, that the Americans are going to be involved, that they're not going to leave in the next couple of days. And I think that is more of a message to the Israelis, which is don't think about possibly picking up where you left off once all the bodies of the hostages will be back, which was a huge concern of Hamas and of the sort of Arab backers of Hamas.
Looking forward to phase two, has there been any movement on some of the main sticking points on that front?
Well, look, for now, it doesn't seem like either side is really budging. And there are some major issues looking forward if we decide that this ceasefire is actually going to last and we're going to reach phase two. When it comes to phase two, you have things like how far will the Israeli forces withdraw even further from where they are right now? They're still controlling more than 50% of the Gaza Strip. Yeah. That is a question. The Israelis are saying we don't want to leave until we know that there's a security force there. Hamas wants the Israelis to withdraw fully to that security perimeter. Then you have the question of governments and of security. Hamas has said we're willing to not have a role in future Gaza or Palestinian governance. They have not agreed to disarm, and they have not agreed to not be there, if you will. And so the question is, how are you going to disarm Hamas, which is what the Israelis and what the peace plan is calling for, when Hamas so far hasn't indicated that they're willing to do it? I think one key point is going to be that international security force, because that is supposed to come into the vacuum. If the Israeli forces leave and Hamas disarms, you need to have a security force there to take over, and that is the big question. So far, you have names of countries that are coming up: the Qataris, the Egyptians, the Turks, the Indonesians. Those are countries that are very important, especially the Egyptians. And one final thought on that: an Egyptian delegation is in Israel right now, and the head of Egyptian intelligence has just met with the Israeli Prime Minister.